Aloha, aloha, good morning. It's P checking in. Aloha, good morning. Welcome to the Daily Cup of Aloha, where we are becoming Aloha one sip at a time. Good morning, good morning. Oh my gosh, you guys hear my coffee grinder in the background? The thing is like working. The good news is I already got my cup of Aloha ready. You get your cup of Aloha ready. Go grab them fast, kind. Aloha, aloha. I'm PE, and welcome to the Daily Cup of Aloha premiere reintroduction episode. The Daily Cup of Aloha, where we are becoming Aloha one sip at a time. We're going to be talking story today about what it takes to be a wife. I know. Check it out. Yeah. Okay, so make sure you're sharing this video with your network. Share. Like me, love me, follow me all over Facebook. You can follow me at Becoming Aloha. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I believe. You can also follow our iAloha TV page on YouTube at keyword iAloha TV. Cheers! Okay, let's take a sip and make sure the coffee concoction came out correctly this morning. Yeah, delicious. Aloha, good morning. Welcome to the Daily Cup of Aloha. I'm your host, I'm PE, broadcasting live from Mount Holly, North Carolina, from the beautiful Cajun breakfast joint spot right here in the heart of downtown Mount Holly. Mahalo to our folks at the Cajun Breakfast Joint for hosting the Daily Cup of Aloha every weekday morning at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here in downtown Mount Holly, North Carolina. In case you never know where that's staying. Good morning. It's PE checking in. How you guys like my shirt though, right? I am the Aloha. You better believe it. It took me a long time for become this kind. And that's only doing one sip at a time. That just tells you I drink coffee every day. Good morning. Happy Aloha Monday to you. If you're chiming in for the very first time, welcome to the Daily Cup of Aloha, where we are becoming Aloha one sip at a time. The whole premise of this talk story is to engage in conversations that matter in the areas of relationship, love of self, love of others, small kind business conversations we're gonna be having, emotional maturity, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits. If you have a topic top of mind for you that you feel like we gotta talk about, inbox me right now from whatever state channel or network you're chiming in from. Okay, just message me down in the comments and let me know what's on your mind, and we'll bring it to a conversation near you. Okay, aloha, good morning. Hmm. So I was getting up this morning. I don't know if it's just me, but is there anybody else that just hits snooze like and always tell yourself 5 more minutes, and then the 5 minutes becomes 10 minutes, becomes 50 minutes, becomes an hour? Oh, it's just me. Okay. Well, this morning I got up kind of quasi on time. I only went snooze one time. So that's why I could be quasi on time this morning for you. But I got to get better about that. I'm trying to just, the first time my alarm go off, just wake up. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try. I'm really going to try really hard. It's 2023. That's the least I could do. Hello, good morning. It's PE checking in live from Mount Holly, North Carolina for today's Daily Cup of Aloha. At the top of every talk story, I love to kick off the morning with our Mala moment. It's our moment of gratitude, where we just take a few minutes to reflect on what we're most grateful for. And I love the big gratitude moments. I'm grateful for having taken breath this morning, for waking up, for having electricity and heat in my apartment. I'm so grateful for all of those things. But the mama moment is taking time to really recognize and be grateful for the little things that tend to go unnoticed on a regular basis. So we don't like do that, okay? We want to make sure that we are grateful for even the littlest of things. So I'm going to share my Malama moment. And today's Malama moment is brought to us by our friends at Aloha Creations. Mahalo to Ben and Frida for your support of the Daily Cup of Aloha and for your contribution to the swag that we get to offer. So this is Aloha Creation right here. The I Am Aloha gear is going to be available online. Stay tuned for details about that. So mahalo to our friends at Aloha Creations. You can find them online at Aloha Creations all over Facebook and Instagram. And they can get swag put together for you too. Okay. Thank you for your support of our Ma Lama moment. I love hearing from you what you're grateful for. So make sure you hashtag and include your Ma Lama moment right here in the comments, so that your gratitude and grateful moments can also bless me, like I hope mine going to bless you. So today is January 30th, and today would have been my mom, Viola Mom's 93rd birthday today. I all right, cheers, Viola Mom. She's celebrating in heaven already. She's been there for a while, reunited with my dad back in 2008. So her birthday would have been today, and it's so ironic that now in life I'm so grateful for the lessons that she taught me, and I'm learning more and more that I have become more like her than I ever would have imagined. I grew up really just in a place where I didn't want to be anything like her. And I even hate to admit that out loud, but I didn't want to be like my mom. She was a homemaker. She never finished high school because she was the oldest of 12 children. And back in those days, yeah, so if Viola Mom would have been 93, carried on 9, she was born in 1930, okay? So back in those days, women, it was all about the family. She, full-fledged Hawaiian, right? And in the Hawaiian family, the oldest the oldest sibling is responsible for the rest of the tribe, right? So she was the oldest of 12 kids, and she left high school in 9th grade so that she could care for all of her siblings. She actually got married when she was 18 and stayed married until my dad's death in 1980. She was only 50 years old. So this morning I was reflecting because it is her birthday. So happy birthday, Viola Mom. Cheerings up in heaven, because I know that's where she stays. But she actually has been the right role model for me my whole life. I rejected it growing up. I'm grateful for now understanding who she was and how she operated, and I have a new appreciation for for who she was. I was looking at all the external parts of her and judging what I thought she wasn't, and doing everything in my power to be everything she wasn't. And now that I'm 50 something years old, I am grateful for the revelation of the woman and the mother and the wife she truly was. And I'm so proud that I find myself so much more like her than I ever thought I would be. Isn't that crazy how that seems to happen, right? That we tell ourselves we're not going to be like our parents. I'm not going to be like my mother. I'm not going to be like my father. And then you grow up and you're like, oh shit, I just like my mother. I just like my father. Well, that's what I am realizing, but in a good way, that I am grateful for the revelation of understanding who Viola Mom actually was. And I wish she was here to have a kuka, to have a conversation with, to let her know how much I love and appreciate her, and how I only aspire to be more like her every single day. So that's my Malama moment, the revelation of understanding that it's okay to become your parents, because not only do we become like the not so good parts of our parents sometimes, but we got to acknowledge and embrace all the great parts of our parents that we get to be. Okay, so I am grateful for that this morning. So mahalo so much to Viola Mom for your wisdom and your example of what a woman, what a mom, and what a wife should be. So cheers, and that's my Malama moment. Let's take a sip on that. Share your Malama moments with me in the comments. Mahalo for joining me this morning on today's Daily Cup of Aloha. We're going to get right into it. We're talking about what it takes to be a wife. And this has been top of mind for me for quite some time, as I am, and I mean, as long as I'm alive and my daughters is with me, I'm going to continually be in the process of raising them. Okay. And I got to thinking a few months back, have we ever been intentionally taught how to be a wife. And what does that even mean? What does that even look like? And I wanted to talk about that today, because if you're raising any daughters, if you have daughters, put in the comments, put the emoji with the hand up, if you have daughters. So raise your hand if you have daughters that you're responsible for, that you help bring into this world. If you have any daughters, put in the comments, I get daughters, and tell me how many you get. I have two daughters that I was so blessed to have given birth to and given life to on this earth, and I have been given the responsibility to raise. And so I have two daughters, Allegra and Miley. Allegra will be 30 this year, and Miley will be 16. She just turned 15 a few months ago. So the age gap is unreal. It took me a while. And in the middle in there, I do have a son. But today's kuka, we're going to really focus on what it means to be a wife. And I realized that growing up, I was never intentionally taught how to be a wife. A lot of what we learn is by observation, by watching, by listening, by being told what to do, but not truly being taught what it means to be a wife. And furthermore, we've never really, at least the Gen X, okay, the generation I grew up in, were raised by silent generation, right? So no talk, no say nothing. They didn't talk about their feelings. They didn't talk about what was on their mind. It wasn't, let's keep it real, okay? The young generation really didn't have an opportunity to share what was on their mind. It was about survival. It was about caring for the family. It was about getting married so that there was stability and security. It was just a different time and a different priority as to what the role of a wife was and what the role of marriage was in society. I would challenge to say that it has changed so much in the last generation, or since the last generation, of what marriage is. I mean, it's become so convoluted, right? I mean, now we get people identifying as they, them, theirs, and there's gender identity crises going on, and all of that. And I'm not opposed to any of that, okay? Be who you are no matter what, okay? I'm not even saying don't be who you are, but what I am saying is that it convolutes the idea of marriage. It can cause some confusion as to what the role marriage plays in society. It confuses the roles of the husband and the wife in the traditional sense. And I want to talk about what it means to be a wife. So we got to go back and understand where the whole idea of marriage even stems from. And if you've been following me for any kind of time, or this is your first time, know that I subscribe to the universal truths. I subscribe to God's program. I believe that He is the creator of all things that exist today. And I do believe that the universe has an energy that God also designed in such a way that creates the flow and the life that is here on this planet and other planets and the galaxy and beyond. Okay, so I am a huge believer in God and who He is and how He intended the world to be. I do my best to live by His principles in my life, so that I can have a life and life more abundant. Okay, so let's just get that clear. Now, whatever you believe, we welcome it all over here, because that's what Aloha is all about. Okay, but this is the stance and the position I'm talking from. So God designed Adam and Eve, right? If we go all the way back to the beginning of time, and we need to have this conversation to understand what it means to be a wife. Now, a lot of times, we start talking about what it takes to be a wife, and we quickly go to what it takes, right? So a lot of us go to being a partner and being equal with the man, and cooking and cleaning and the tasks, the chores of being the wife, the actual physical expectations of being a wife, okay, and what that means. So let me know what you think. What does being a wife mean to you? Let me know in the comments right now what it means to be a wife. Just leave a comment. What are your thoughts as to what it means to be a wife? And just tweet about it, okay? Just say, growing up, I thought that being a wife meant that you needed a husband, you have a partnership, and the two of you get together to have babies so you can procreate and continue the family legacy. And then you do family married stuff together, and you go to all the sports games, you go to all of the you go to church, and you just kind of do life together. You get a house, and you clean house, you go work, you come home, you make dinner, and then you have babies, and that's it. That's what it is. That's what I saw. I had the blessing of being around a family who, like my brothers, my lead brothers, they've all been married as long as I've been alive. They've been married to the same person, and they still married to the same people to this day. God bless them for putting up with my sisters-in-law. Nah, nah, nah. I love my sisters-in-law. Okay, they're awesome. So I only saw the mechanics of what I thought it meant to be a wife. Now, understand that what we interpret as young people, because our minds are still developing in our own way, without intentional instruction or intentional direction, we are just going to interpret what we see and just do what we see, right? And how we interpret it is how it's going to come out. So what I observed was, you get married, you beef, and if you get beef, you get together anyway. That's how it was, okay. And what I saw was that the wives, took care of the husbands. My mom took care of my dad. My sisters-in-law took care of my brothers. But I thought, I'm not gonna do that. And it's so crazy that I don't know where that attitude even came from. That I didn't want to do that. I wanted my whole life to pursue career, pursue wealth, have an opportunity to make money and make an impact and make a difference in my own universe. And I had a chance to do that. So I wanted to be that kind of wife. I never thought of myself as a homemaker. In fact, I used to downplay and in fact reject the whole idea of cooking and cleaning. Why I gotta cook? Why I gotta be the one to do that? I have a career, and I'm gonna be, climbing the corporate ladder. I'm gonna have my own business. I'm gonna make millions. That's what I used to say. I'll take over the world. So I thought I'm gonna be that kind of person, but I still want to be a wife. I saw that there was value to being married, that there's a partnership. So more easy doing with somebody than doing by yourself. So I have the fortune of being married 2 times. So one could argue, what you doing talking about being one wife? Well, I would say because I was one wife 2 times, okay? And the fact that I'm a wife now is not the point. The point is, there's so much more to being a wife, and the wisdom that I've walked through since my second divorce has brought me to this understanding that I'm sharing right now with you. So the idea of being a wife was never promoted, and it also was never really prioritized. There's not so much honor and glamour that is brought to the whole power of what it is to be a true wife. So God ordained and came up with the idea of a man and woman getting together for the purpose of procreation, for the purpose of moving forward his plans and his purpose. And he intended us to be in relationship with one another to do it together. So he intended a man and a woman to do this and to become one and leave their families and leave their siblings, leave their parents, leave the life that they knew their whole lives, and cleave to each other and become one. Well, how do we do that? And then once you're one, now what? Who's doing what? Who's on first and who's doing what? So at the very essence of being a wife, it really comes down to roles and energy. Okay, it really comes down to not identifying who going to work and who going to wash dishes and who gotta change the tire and who going to change the diapers. Those are just practical things that the world introduced into the marriage union, and God never came up with those standards of marriage. Okay, but He did put us into relationship so that we each had roles, so that we each had a way that we would move in this earth using our natural energies, using what the gifts that God gave us from the inside out, to be able to come together and create such power in being married, such power in being united and being together. Okay, so this is really what being married is all about. Okay, so God intended us to do this in such a way that one led and one followed. And the way that he designed men and women, he designed Adam first. And when he created all the earth, and God, made everything all together, and he made the animals and stars and the moon and the water and the everything, then he created man, right? And he from dust breathed life onto dust, and boom, here came Adam, right? And so once Adam was created, God said, you know what? You're gonna need some help. So he pulled from Adam a rib, okay? Pulled from the inside of Adam his DNA and a part of Adam to create woman. And I always say this, and I believe this with my whole spirit, that women are God's finale, right? So you know how finales work, right? So you always save the best for last, and women was created last, okay? Because after that, after all the work God put in us, he had to take one nap. So women are God's finale, but he intended us to be the helper of the man, because he told Adam, you're not going to be able to live this life without a helper, a helpmate. And over time, the word helper, support has become such a watered down position that women reject the idea. I want to be a helper, I want to be a partner, I want to be his equal. And I'm trying to be, that was me, that was totally me. And that was the idea. And again, not sure where that came from. I have some inkling that society, fed us that women were equal to men. The feminist movement allowed us to allowed women to express themselves more freely. We had access to more job opportunities. We had access to better incomes, and the independent woman was born. Okay. And because of that, we've gotten skewed a little bit, and dare I say, we've gotten a little bit out of whack with what it means to be a wife and to be the helpmate. So I am talking about this topic all week because there's so much to break down in this area. So what it means to be a wife, and understanding what God intended the wife to be is helpmate. And I'm here to advocate that there's honor in being the helpmate. There's honor in being the support. There's honor in being the woman in the relationship. And there's honor in being the support, the one that is allowing the man to do what he is called to do so that we can do what we are called to do. Okay, there's many facets to this conversation. Today, I just want to take us through the idea that being the helpmate is powerful. Being the one that God innately designed to be the helper with our own gifts, talents, and purpose inside of us and on us to produce what he intended us to produce. In addition to life, okay, women are the life bearers. And God means this in every area of humanity, okay? So the practical matter is only women can give birth. So we are the life givers. Everything that gets poured into us is multiplied back out of us, okay? So anything that is planted in here, we multiply. So that implies that we need to be receivers. In order to receive, you cannot give and receive in the same action, okay? Not at the same exact time. You cannot be the giver and receiver at the same time. There's honor in being the receiver. In order to be a multiplier, you need a factor, right? There has to be a factor, because 0 times anything is 0, right? You only be on 0, even at 1 as a multiplier, it's still something, right? So women have to understand, and we need to understand, and I'm here to help us explore the idea that as the multiplier and as the one that is innately designed to give life and to multiply back what is on the inside of us, we need to be aware of what we're putting inside of us. We need to be aware of the gift that is womanhood, the gift that is the wife, okay? And so once we understand that truth, then it's so easy to maneuver. What happens is we get caught up in what the external, the societal norms or societal expectations are, or the societal opportunities that exist for men and women going after those things. Now, am I saying women cannot be ambitious and women cannot do, what's put in their heart, what they're designed to accomplish? No, I'm not. What I am saying, however, is those pursuits, those ambitions, and those gifts were innately designed inside of us to multiply the mate who has the same thing inside of him. This is why, in choosing the helpmate and being the helpmate, we have to really be careful who we align with. It starts with us. I used to follow a long time ago a guy by the name of Miles Monroe. He has since passed away, but he has an international ministry that still goes on today. Okay, and he said in one of his sermons that I watched closely, he said that you need to be a wife before you're a wife. Okay, so I follow online right now Kevin Samuels. He too passed away under suspicious circumstances, but Kevin Samuels was a YouTube influencer that would advocate for marriage, and he was all about that. And he would say often, you need to be a wife before you become a wife. So you already have to be in wife mode before you become an actual wife and get the ring. So what does that even mean? So today I'm going to give you 3 tips, okay? 3 things that we can do right now that gets us started to being a wife. Now, if you're already a wife, that's cool, okay? I'm not even saying, nothing about that, except understand and contemplate these ideas and ask yourself, do I possess these skills? Am I embracing these principles? Do I intentionally teach my daughters how to be wives? I told my 15-year-old, because it's just the 2 of us now, I told her, I said, my job as your mother is to teach you how to not only be a woman, but how to prepare yourself to be a wife. I am a huge advocate of marriage. I am all for it. Just because I'm all for 2 doesn't mean that I don't like marriage and married people, okay? I isolate my 2 situations to themselves, okay? That has nothing to do with all men suck and marriage sucks. I am a total proponent of marriage. In fact, I know God has a forever man for me, and I am just being aloha and being who God called me to be, because when I am, the man for me will find me and will be attracted to me. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of marriage, and I'm an advocate completely for that. So I told my 15-year-old, you're gonna be with me on this. Okay, I am going to intentionally teach you how to be a wife. My 30-year-old daughter, who's expecting my 2nd grandson, I told her the same thing, that my heart and my hope is that I can be an example of a good wife, and that I can impart into her and even now what it means to be a good wife. Okay, so the very first thing is to understand the role that we play. So the very first understanding and the first tip that I'll leave us with today is understand what we were taught. Take an inventory on what it means to be a wife and write it down. Write down all the things that you observed. Maybe you were intentionally taught how to be a wife. Just write it down. Write them down and just go through. I'm a huge journaler, so if you don't want to journal, just grab one paper and one pen and just write down real fast time what you know a wife to be. Write it down. And if you're a guy watching this, write down the qualities of a wife that your wife possesses or you wish that she would possess. And just write down what you believe wife material looks like. Okay, just write it down. And later today, I'm going to write down some thoughts, and I'm going to share with you what those thoughts are. So make sure you're following me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as I share this information, so that when we talk story this week, and we're gonna do this series all week on what it means to be a wife, and we're gonna break this down and talk about it, so that um, we are intentional about teaching our daughters how to be wives, and we become the best wife that we possibly can be, whether we're single waiting to be married or we're already married, and we know we can make some better adjustments inside the marriage to make the marriage better, to make ourselves better. That I just hope that these insights to being a good wife helps you. Okay, and that's my goal. So write down what qualities exist in a wife, in a good wife. Okay, write it down. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. The second thing that we're going to do is, let's understand how God designed the idea of husband and wife. Okay, so write down the word helpmate or helper. Okay, helpmate slash helper, and write down what that means to you. Okay, write it down. Okay, in the context of being a wife, what does that mean to be the helper and the helpmate? All right, write down what that is, because this is a God truth, and by design, this is what He called us to be. So we're really going to dive into what it means to be a good helpmate and a good helper. Okay, as the wife, and what what that means. So write that down too. Write down what it means to be a good wife. Okay, or a helpmate and a helper. And then finally, the third thing is, write down areas where you think you need to improve. Okay, things that and this is for my married people or people who used to be married. Go back and take an inventory on where you could have done better in being a better wife. Okay, in just in hindsight. Okay, and only you know your story, and only you know your insight. So write down what you think um, went wrong. Okay, what you think you can do better. So if you're divorced like me, and I've done this work, and this is why I know it's helpful, because I'm taking us somewhere with this. So write down where you think you can do better as a wife, if you're already married, and if you're single and divorced, or maybe you were in a long-term relationship that ended, where you could have done better. And in hindsight, and this is all from your perspective, you cannot make a list and be like, well, if he was like this and he was like that. No, okay, because we're not going to take on that kind of action. We're not going to take on that. If he would act right, then I would act right. We got to act right all the time, no matter what. Okay, we're going to talk about that too all week. So three things to write down: what you know or believe a wife to be, and what qualities she should possess. Number two, understand or write down what you think it means to be a helpmate or a helper. What do those two words bring up in you? What does that mean to be a helpmate and a helper? If you want to look it up on Webster, go. But what I'm looking for is what you think that is. What do you think that means? Okay. And third, write down where you can do better, and we can all do better. So for me, and I'll share one area where I could have done better. I thought that I was the man in the relationship, so everything that I said went. So I was all in my I'm gonna take over the world energy. I was making plenty money, and I made all the decisions, and what I say goes. And it came down to it where my ex told me, "You're gonna do what you're gonna like. What you gonna do what you like anyway." And he was, and I did. I was so running amok and just did whatever I wanted to do. And we're going to talk about covering. We're going to talk about the power of being covered by the right man. And when we're not covered by the right man, and in the absence of a man, or while waiting for a man, that God is our covering. So we don't run amok. Okay, we're going to talk about that this week also. So I'm going to really break this down so we get the understanding, and we have the same intention of raising our daughters to be wives. There's honor in being a wife. There is duty related to being a wife, and there's beauty in being a wife. And we're going to be those things now while we're waiting. If you're single and if you're already married, it's not too late to turn the ship around if you feel like you're falling short in some areas. So write that down, okay? Write down in those areas where you can do better, okay? So if you do those 3 things, do some homework, and stay tuned right here on, I'm on Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you catch the videos live. We can have live engagement, and we're going to talk story about this all week long. Okay, so this is a starting place to talking about what it takes to be a wife, and this is a series that's going to continue for the rest of the week in honor of my mom, Viola Mom, who was, in my opinion, the epitome of what a wife should be. So you're going to learn more about her as we talk story, and as we wind down today's Daily Cup of Aloha, where we're becoming Aloha one sip at a time. Mahalo so much for keeping me company. We're going to keep talking story like this, and we're going to keep putting top of mind what it takes to be a wife all week. Okay, so do your homework, share with me how the homework is going, share in the comments your list, whatever you like, share, and write that down. Okay, write it down, write down those 3 areas. If you're catching this on the replay, just hashtag replay for me, so that we can connect and I can understand kind of when you chimed in. Let me know where you're chiming in from, and make sure you're sharing this video with your network. If there's anybody you know that could benefit from this talk story, whether it's your daughters, your niece, your cousin, anybody that you think would benefit from this talk story, please share this with them, and I invite them to join us for our Daily Cup of Aloha. Okay, so as I sign off, I just want to remind you that Aloha Creations, they are available for creating swag just for you, t-shirts, cups, bags, and everything in between. You need promotional items, reach out to our friends at Aloha Creations. Mahalo so much for your support of our Malama moment this morning. And of course, to our friends at the Cajun Breakfast Joint for hosting our Daily Cup of Aloha every weekday morning right here at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you like me, love me, follow me, but most of all, share me, okay? And tune in every weekday morning for the Daily Cup of Aloha. Until next time, gange, ahui ho!